So I'm Rob Coleman. I'm the Managing Director and one of the founders of IndigoFitness. So my day-to-day role within Indigo is more strategic than operational these days. I tend to look after or oversee key accounts, certainly defence or MOD sales, the design team, and also heavily involved in compliance and sustainability. So I was first really exposed to the fitness industry, I guess, in the 80s when I was serving with the British Army, and so the problem I had was I was really fit, but I wasn't particularly strong, and sort of strength and conditioning wasn't really a thing back in the day. It wasn't defined. Obviously, it existed, and so what I found myself doing with other guys was actually going to bodybuilding gyms. So that was coming to the end of the Arnold era. And that's where I sort of appreciated that, you know, I needed to be strong, I needed to be functionally fit. A good friend of mine who used to train at the same gym, Andy Turner, was a competing powerlifter. And we just got chained one day through friends. He was an engineer and steel fabricator, and he got ideas about developing gym equipment. So I left the army and then started to get into this sort of the early 90s. But I think the important thing that I still sort of track back today is that Andy, who's still in the business as the design director, is that we've done every role within the business. So we can make things, and we have made things over the years. And that experience is huge, because as the fitness industry has evolved, then different equipment categories have been in vogue or not. So when we look at the reason why we developed pin-loaded and plate-loaded equipment, which really was in the mid-90s when we went down that route, and then some more specialised plate-loaded, we created a lot of equipment that didn't exist at the time, and have just continued to evolve over those 30 years. Gym design has changed massively over my career, for sure, and I think we're in a really interesting time now, because it's a mature or a maturing industry, and rather than it being heavily led by trend or product related to trend, which, you know, I can look back and see how, you know, products, you know, have really not so much follow trends, but the products have created a trend. And whilst there is some value in those products, and a few examples will be, you know, the introduction of a gym ball or a BOSU or a suspension trainer, and because they were, say, the first, you know, functional tools, if you like, or stability tools that were brought to market, there was 100% focus on those, and because the industry was evolving, it didn't quite know where to position them. And then you got the influence of global manufacturers who, you know, wanted to sell lots of high technology cardio and expensive pin loaded. And for us, it was, whilst all those equipment categories have their place, the skill is placing them. And I don't mean that in terms of product placement. It's understanding the sort of the gym ecosystem and the tools that you need to deliver the training outcomes. And that stands up to scrutiny. So what Indigo does really well, based on all that experience, is to look at an environment and see equipment types, how they're zoned, how the gym flows, and what equipment deserves to be in the space. And that doesn't necessarily mean a single brand, because what we're very good at is strong partnerships. And we like to align with other products or brands that are superior in class, and that allows us to deliver credible gym space. The other aspect is, which is, you know, still very much emerging, is because we don't place products, you look at either a new build, something's not been built, or existing facility, and you see what the capability is of the infrastructure. So we want to know that if you're going to carry out whatever training activity that might be, then the infra is going to support that. And if it's not, what you're going to do about it, or what we're going to do about it. And our depth of skills allow us to make those conclusions. So I can honestly say that, and I can't remember an occasion where I walked into a room with an operator, somebody in the military, any customer type really, where they've posed a question that I or we haven't got an answer to, or I know we've got somebody in the organisation who can answer those questions. And that having that confidence in capability, and team is a cliche, but genuinely we've got some hugely talented individuals within Indigo Fitness, and we've got a pretty level senior management team. It's a pretty flat structure, and I think our team just have the confidence to develop and evolve themselves, and they provide us the solutions that we then deliver to customers. So we differentiate ourselves by the strength of the team for sure, that depth of experience, and also the confidence that we have got some form of solution, whether it be flooring, infrastructure, equipment, bespoke, which is what we do in terms of changing metal structures, and then the customization to provide our customers with an identity, their identity. It's not our identity. It's not all about us and our brand. And it's been a little bit humble and understanding what customer needs, what the outcomes are, and we can shape those. And that is really diverse. Indigo it operates in multiple sectors. We could be fitting out a nuclear submarine, for instance. We could be working with high-end boutique operators, single sites, national chains. Doesn't really matter. The principles are the same. It's having the confidence to walk in the room knowing you've got the right solution, and it's not just about product placement, because product placement is really quite easy. If you've got to solutionize it, that's where you've got to have the skill and knowing you've got a manufacturing organization that's quite capable of delivering on those promises.